feeling today? Do you bite people?
Alrighty, it is time for one more session, or part of a session. This is speaker number 21, which is actually me and my friends. And we are so tired because we all got like 2 hours sleep before this thing started. We've tried to catch little cat naps. We're exhausted. We're silly. He can't even find a chair tall enough for him. I don't know if you can hear him back there.
No chair can hold me.
No chair can hold you. Of course, this is Dwayne. He was on the last hour with Paul Myers because I had to bow out. And then that little nap was a terrible decision because now my body is just... And I'm just like, now's your chance. Now's your chance to ask any question you want to know because no one's awake and no one cares.
No one's listening.
No one but Casual Reef Keeping is here. That would be Kyle.
Artemis left us?
Well, we don't know. We'll have to see if anyone shows up. There's 4 people on here and there's 1 person in the chat.
Andrea, Christine.
Yeah,
has
where's
been
Andrea?
Toughing it out through this whole event.
You'll never be able to get up. He's down. He's completely down.
She just WWF'd you.
Jack is like, you guys have been in this room forever. What is so special on that screen that you never walk out of this room?
Oh, boy.
Oh, Andrea's still with us. That's 2
wow,
people. She
Man,
did it. She made us look bad.
She got more than a 2-hour cat nap before this whole event started. She has the leg up on us.
Yeah, she's making it happen. Let's see if I can scooch this over a little bit so you can see this extra.
Mainlining amphetamines.
There he is. That's Ian. So listen, Ian saved the day because he crunched everything to make all this gear work in here. You guys even got it. We should do a tour of this room. That's what we should do, and just walk the camera around the room.
Oh, it would have been better if we could have walked it around when we had 7 50-foot extension cords throughout the house.
You did not want that. Let's talk about power outages and doing live streams for 24 hours.
Well, first off is having a generator you can depend on.
Yeah, I'm so glad I bought that one.
Yes, absolutely. It did the job. That 50 amp supply. I mean, I think we were stressing it. Ian and I both feel like we stressed it a little bit.
I'm just happy we never had to use the backup giant hamster wheel.
Yes, yes.
The backup giant hamster wheel. You didn't even know about that, did you? Hey, Jackie. No, so I bought a generator a couple years ago after the big ice storm, and it runs up to 50 amps. However, I had a wire that had been in my fish room for years that was really 30 amps. So I would change the cord's end to make it work, but the wire would be kind of warm. And then a few months ago, Bobby came over and we swapped out with a 50 amp cable. So when I got everything wired and going for the show, Dwayne's like, I don't know, I unplugged the refrigerator. I'm worried. I heard your little fan slowing down. And I'm like, it's 50 amps. We've got unlimited power. We can just do this. And he was like, I don't know. But it actually did completely fine. We just kept topping it off with more gas.
We didn't trip the breaker. That's all that mattered.
We never tripped it. The reef tank, we just blew off the lights. I think you just unplugged them, right?
I unplugged them, yeah.
Because the tanks were in crisis mode. Matter of fact, we never did connect all the components to make Apex Fusion communicate with me, so I didn't even know what the tank temperature was. But in the middle of one of yesterday's presentations, I decided to open up hydros for Caitlin's Reef, and that tank's always 75 degrees, maybe 76. And the little temperature gauge had gone all the way up to 80. I was like texting Dwayne, ice in Caitlin's tank, go to 7-Eleven, put ice inside the reef right now, because the reef's going to be just as warm.
Yeah, ultimately, I ended up buying 11 bags of ice. There's 2 left. So 9 bags went into the 400-gallon reef to keep it cool. And we finally got less punchy enough that we put a floating thermometer in, and Caitlin's Reef was down. They were both at 78 when I finally measured the temperature. So, so your call was the right call. Yeah,
no, I to be honest, while I was on with someone, I can't remember which person I had on, my brain said, Caitlin's tank is 90? I'm like, Dwayne, but then by the time you came into the room and I whispered over my shoulder, ice into the tank, then I realized it said 80. I'm like, okay, 80's not that bad, but 80's a lot for a little tank that's always, 75, 76.
And we still have ice for the party.
And the party. We're about to have a party. We didn't even mention the party. Oh my God, we're both so tired. Listen, we are going to show you a video you haven't seen yet. I've been sitting on this for hours. So I'm going to throw this on the screen now, and I hope you enjoy it. It is an opportunity to see some of the things that are built at Milev's Reef. I hope I did this right because I just set it up and ran away. So here we go. Here's a triple dosing container that's about to go out. Customer's going to pick it up. It's got room for 3 different sections of additives. Could be alkaline, calcium, and magnesium. You have a single lid to remove it for easy refills. And then these have tubes in them to draw the liquid up from the base all the way up. These come in 2 sizes on my website. This is the large version. There's also a smaller version that holds a gallon each of solution. This one is 16 inches wide, 5 inches deep, 17 inches tall, holds 1.5 gallons of solution in each compartment. And then the smaller version is 12 inches tall, same otherwise footprint, and hold 1 gallon of each solution. This is a heater hanger bracket that I make. This can hold up to 3 heaters, or you can just have 1 or 2 in there if you like. And I make them custom sized to fit what goes into your sump. So this one's 11 inches long, where I make some of them about 8 inches wide. The basic need is to see how long the heater is going to be to fit inside here. And it fits all 1-inch heaters. If you have 2 inches of space in between the baffles, this will fit in there perfectly. It's 1 3/4 inches wide. Here's a top-off container I just made for a customer. I do make these in custom sizes. This one is 8 inches wide, 12 inches front to back, and 20 inches tall. Holds about 8 gallons of water. Has an easy pour lid. Just remove this out of the way. Add the water, put the lid back on top. There's a notch here for a power cord for a pump, and there's a hole in the back here for some tubing for a top-off system. Some peacemakers, I make 2 kinds, the kind that hang on a rimless tank and the kind that span a tank if it has Euro bracing or the black plastic trim. This right here, I have to get way back here, is a power brick holder. That's Jack. And this can hold up to 6 power bricks and can be mounted on the wall or inside your aquarium stand to keep all those power bricks off the bottom and out of your way. This is something brand new I made for a friend. This is a power brick holder for the Neptune Sky power bricks. Those bricks are huge. They're 8 inches long and 3.5 inches wide and 2 inches tall. This is designed to sit on the cabinet or on the wall of the aquarium stand, and we'll put those bricks on their edges to take up less space. This is a skimmer stand. I custom make these for my customers. This one is 8 inches by 9.5 inches by 2 inches tall. Just place it under your skimmer and the skimmer won't budge. Here's a left corner overflow box for an aquarium. So the customer tells me how wide they want it to be, how deep they want it to be, and how tall they want it to be. When I build these for glass aquariums, I round the bottom corner so it fits into the silicone. That way it's easier to fit in there against the wall of the tank when you're siliconing it in. This one also had a notch cut out specifically for a 3/4 inch lock line. That gap right there is a 1 inch wide gap. I make corner overflow boxes. So this is black acrylic 1/4 inch, and you can see it's got a front. So the customer tells me how wide they want it to be. They tell me how deep they want it to be front to back, and then how tall they want it to be. If it's going in a glass aquarium, which is very much, I make corner overflow boxes. So this is an example of one. It's made of black acrylic. This is the front. I would need to know the width, the depth, and then the height. This one's made for a glass aquarium, so the bottom corner has been rounded over. That way it'll fit into the silicone when they're bonding it in. And I also added a notch here for their lock line. So that's a specific request. They have to tell me where they want that notch to be. And this fits 3/4 inch lock line. That's a 1 inch gap right there. This corner overflow is very different from what I normally build. If you notice, the teeth are super close together because the person who owns this tank has tiny fish. So they asked for a zillion little slits. So hopefully water flow through here will work nicely for that aquarium. This overflow box is called a center overflow. It goes on the back wall of the tank
in the middle of the tank. And this one is a certain distance across that the customer requested. It's got a front to back depth that's about 5.5 inches or so to handle the bulkheads. And there's a notch in the middle here for where the water is going to come back from the return. I also build custom sumps. This is a huge example of one that I do. This one is 60 inches long and 20 inches wide. It's made out of 3/8 cast acrylic. You're actually looking at the back side of it. These big sumps are really best for customers that are local and not needing it to be shipped. Shipping costs a fortune. There's nothing I can do to make that less. If you have your own shipping system, I'm fine with that as well if you need something big. But the smaller things ship nicely. We ship through UPS. And this one here, it took a lot of work, but I mean, it's a very simple system, but very strong. So because it's so thick with the giant bulkheads, it goes into 7-inch socks, skimmer section, refugium, return zone. It's very simple, very sleek, very clean, and it will last forever.
Guys, think about that. That was the best we could do. Look, Ian's completely out of the shot. He's trying to avoid it again. Get back in the frame.
I offered the chair to him.
I take nothing.
I'm just I'm the baby of the group, but if anyone cares.
We've tried everything, but nothing's working. There's no brains. We've used it all up.
Yeah.
We're all saying, is it 9? Is it 9 yet? Is it 9 yet? Is it 9 yet? Is it 9 yet?
Well, Ian could have whipped up a PowerPoint for us in the last 45 seconds.
Couldn't you just made a video we could have played for 2.5 hours? How long did those take you to build? No, we had considered having a conversation about the anemone cube, but I never got to prep anything because of the disaster that struck the home before the event. You know, he had specific slides he was going to make for each show for them to be pre-scheduled. We didn't get to do that. I wanted to do lots of 3-minute clips, and I didn't get to make those. It was just, this was hard. But we are near the final. We have 2 more speakers coming up. One is in 19 minutes with Morgan Moore, who is who goes by the name Reef Goddess. And she is in Florida, in Miami, I believe. And then we have Dennis Tigerboy, who will be talking about macroalgae tanks. Can you guys hear Jackie playing on the carpet?
Doing?
That's what she does. It makes her happy.
Digging a China.
She's having fun. That's why I got the good carpet. But
I see. It's a scratching pole.
Yeah, she loves it. She's got so many different species in her.
She's a confused cat right now.
You're so silly. You're so silly. You should come up here and be on camera with me. She's doing this.
A lot of work goes into...
Oh, nice. Brian got his Peacemaker. I'm glad you got it. I'm
stream.
glad you like it. He said, thank you.
No one has any questions for us?
Let's see if there's any questions. Yeah. Are there any questions?
Nobody cares.
No one cares. No one's even here. Just these 4 people. I'm kidding. There's 42 people watching and we're saying nothing?
Really?
All right, guys, pull it together.
Oh, my
we
goodness.
gotta pull it together.
Oh my goodness.
Give us questions. We bled for you people.
We struggled. We sweat for you people is what we did.
Yeah.
I actually took all the towels out of here to get them out of this room. From
My favorite part of
They
the whole
smell
thing was
funky?
that the power going out just as we were about to test everything.
It is 100% true.
Yeah, we were...
Okay, Jack, stop.
We were working
Stop.
on the Raffle out in the shop when the power went out. There was 3 of us, a couple friends of Mark and myself, and we'd spent 2 hours developing this plan, and
Right.
we were just starting to get on a roll, and we got shot down dead. There was it was a 3-hour delay just because of the confusion and power.
The way the storm hit. So here's what was happening. Ian had just set up this room, plugged in all these things, ran all these cables. We had it all ready to button up and then start assigning, like slides for the different phases. That was our plan. But then I heard this really crazy loud wind outside this window that's right here. And it was really weird. And I stopped. Do you hear that? And it's like... And so I was like, I'm looking and the branches are going crazy. So I run out the door while he's in here thinking, oh, he'll take care of whatever that random thing might be. And there is some hail coming down, but no rain yet, but the wind, and there's these weird sounds. I mean, I don't know what hit us. I don't know if anyone ever answered my question. I told someone on Facebook at some point, tell me, go Google what happened, because I don't know if that was a hurricane, a tornado cane, a hurricane. I don't know what happened, but it was so sudden. And unfortunately, Dwayne had hauled all the salt from Fritz and put it on the patio outside the studio, because it'll be fine overnight, as the tornado cane hit. So I'm like, here, let's do the fireman's carry where we all pass the bucket. And I'm doing salt to this person who gets to the door to the next person inside who gets in. We're trying to do this 12 times as now the water's starting to hit. The wind is racing. I feel like the fence is going to attack us.
Dogs and cats living together.
It was really insane. And then, we kind of were sort of sheltered. I ran back inside the house because Jack didn't know what to do. She didn't know if she wanted to go in the building. She's like, what's happening? I know my dad is out here. And then she was like heading for the door. I was like, yeah, let's go in. So we ran in. Dwayne, Wes, and Maria were in the outside building. And then they came flying into the house. Like, what is happening? Because this thing just got worse by the second.
The lightning was striking so bad. We were in a steel building. So we didn't know how well it's grounded.
Yeah, they didn't trust my grounding rod that I installed 2 years ago.
That's awesome.
Oh, somebody has a question. Look.
There is a question?
Ooh.
Yeah, not about anything that, we did.
Nothing important? Just a random question?
MRS Aquarium.
What?
Well, we asked for questions. That's fine.
How can I move my... Hey, there is a real question. Okay, Ian, what's the answer? How can I move my zoas off the frag plug to get them on the rocks to make a garden with no plugs?
With no plugs?
With no plugs.
No plugs is hard. You can very, very carefully peel the zoa off with tweezers, but you have to be really careful, because if you rip the skin or puncture it, then they're basically dead. As far as getting them onto the rock, you can try using super glue. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to do that, you probably best to try it with the rock out of the water. And then, even then, it's questionable whether or not the zoa is going to stick.
There's one trick that I heard from a coral vendor once. They would get under the zoas, like whatever it was on, and they try to get under the coralline. So there's a little bit of something under the skin, and they could put the glue on that something to the rock. Yeah. So it's not just a wet, slimy zoa onto the rock.
I usually make sure that what I would do is I would make sure that the plug was, in the water for a long time, so they get kind of soft, and I would just take pliers and then slowly chip away at the plug until it was just a little bit of the ceramic, and then use that and glue it on.
Yeah. I have in the past... It depends how many zoas. If there's like 2 polyps, this is a problem. But if you have a decent little thing happening on the plug, I have just cut off the stump and glued the circle, because I knew the zoas would kind of hide it at some point.
Yeah, they get fluffy enough and tall enough, they'll hide the frag plug when you have. I mean, you're right. If there's two polyps,
it's hard to hide a circle.
It's obvious, but when it's a colony of 30 or 40 polyps, your plug disappears.
Yeah, and you can get creative with like a pair of sharp nippers and try to just take the sharp edge off of the plug, so it looks less like a plug.
Yeah.
So,
or even if the plug was like a regonite like I use, and make it almost even triangular, then it's easier to chip those hard edges away.
Yeah.
Lots of tricks, just time and patience.
Here's another question. My new copper band is dealing well with the aptasia issue. However, how do I get them out of the overflow? There are loads in there. Oh. So, actually, I don't care what's in the overflow box in most cases. I mean, if you want to get really creative, I would turn off the return pump. I would take like a Kent scraper or one of those things and just cut them all off the inside walls of the overflow, let them settle to the bottom, and then siphon out all the detritus and those aptasias. Yeah, and then turn the return pump back on.
Yeah, with aptasia, anytime you touch aptasia, you run the risk of just spreading spores in the water. Yeah. So,
and I don't know if it's spores or not, but it does seem like you touch one and suddenly you have more. But the aptasia, the F-aptasia works so well, but it would be hard to do that in an overflow box. You don't have a lot of visibility, and it's a vertical wall, so it's harder. Now, one guy did something that I thought was kind of brilliant, but super dangerous. he took a UV bulb that had no housing and put it down inside there and just fried everything. I mean, he just cooked it, but you can't look at the tank when you're doing this, right? And it crazes all the acrylic of the overflow.
Oh,
really?
So, and
Yeah,
if it
that
was a
would be
tank, because he had more rotation in the sump, he thought, okay, I'll just move the bulb down there. And the next day, the entire sump just looked like crystalline patterns, like
I had no
spiderwebbed.
idea UV would do that to acrylic.
I kept thinking, why would you have an unshielded UV bulb? How do you even buy an unshielded UV bulb?
yeah,
But it's one of those things you can buy anywhere that's probably made for an HVAC system or whatever it can be.
I mean, you can buy plutonium on Amazon, so.
Oh, I didn't know
You
this,
didn't know
Doc
that?
Brown.
Oh my gosh, yeah, look it up. It has some of the best reviews. It's actually amazing.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
By the way, back to the Zoas thing. I see people commenting, wear glasses and gloves and keep your mouth closed.
Yes.
Because you don't want the squirt of the palytoxin in your mouth because it's going to taste metallic and you're going to be uncomfortable and you might have problems breathing.
I like that one.
Who's this Andrea person?
Andrea.
Why is she asking such stupid questions?
Oh, look at this question. This is so rude. Would you do it? Not just do it. Would you do it ever again? No, we don't want to ever do it again. This was a one-time thing to fill in for Macna. Macna needs to step up and do this for another 20 years. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
This was hard. And this was super hard with no electricity.
Yeah.
I did not come into this thinking we could do it without
Well,
electricity.
I mean,
and air conditioning.
In hindsight, I should have came here Thursday.
Yes. And I wanted him. I was like, can't you come
Same
a day
here.
early?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Look, I'm only doing this again if there's a flood and it's raining frogs. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
I mean, even if I had come early, some of the raffle prizes didn't even show up until Friday
That's
afternoon.
right. Yeah, they were all. Everything was coming in the last minute. Amazon was coming the last minute. We even a battery backup that I ordered. I said, okay, we're good. We're going to protect the router.
Sitting on the kitchen.
And he says, you got to plug that in. It's going to be worthless. So we plugged it into a house that's dead. So it never could even get its initial charge to be our backup for the router. But we had it plugged to a generator. So we were able to do a show. I don't think anyone's ever done a live stream show on a generator.
Not
19 hours in a way in a row. That was unbelievable.
That's crazy.
I did look this up. A quick update. The raffle is at, oh my goodness, the raffle's at $7,600 of donations raised, basically, $7,564. So this is amazing. And then we are just hoping, it even says here that this thing is ending in 2 hours and 7 minutes. That's accurate. So at 2 hours and 8 minutes, I guess, we're supposed to get the answer of what everyone won. I hope. That's how the software is supposed to work. We assume we're going to get some list. Emails are going to go out. I hope everyone, is happy and nothing goes wrong with this thing because we've been relying on this software from the beginning. So we'll see what happens next.
Ian and I decided we're not announcing everybody as closing ceremonies. We're too exhausted.
Yeah.
Just email us and tell us if you won. Did you win? Good. Just let me know. I'll send you a box.
I can't list off 100 names.
The announcements of the winner will be an experiment as whether or not we're telepathic here.
Coral Vids, the
You
raffle
won.
link is in this video's description, right under where we're. What should we call this? Well, we're live streaming.
It's Mark and Friends.
Yeah, it's Mark and Friends. And,
Welcome to the Mark and Friends show.
If you just look in the video's description, it's right there. And of course, Andrea will probably put a link somewhere in this live chat as well. But it's that simple. You can go look and see what you want to get and put your choices in the basket and then buy it, and the number will go up a little bit higher. And then WAMUS will write a check to the Coral Restoration Foundation, and they'll plant some more corals in the ocean. Thank you, Andrea. I knew she'd do it. So that's done. Reef Canvas said, I guess the community needs to push for the next Markna. These are some pushy people for 6 in the morning, 6:54 in the morning.
Well, next time we do it, I want a commission. I'm getting paid.
Yeah, this free stuff is for the birds. And then Ian, he got this great hotel, which apparently cost a fortune that he hasn't even seen. Because he's been stuck in this hot house.
Sleeping on the floor.
passing out, sitting up with a laptop on his lap, and he's trying to edit. He wakes up and keeps editing and goes back to sleep.
They gave me 2 free bottles of water when I checked in.
Oh, well.
Ooh.
As long as you got free
that's
bottles
well
of
worth,
water.
several $100s. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, there's the damage to the environment from the plastic bottles. So there's that going for me.
Well,
no, they recycle those.
We can refill them so they're not single use, or Alex Rose is going to come after us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can put them in the Caitlin's Cube for icing.
Yeah, we could save those bottles, and I can freeze them for the next heat wave that comes blowing through my house.
For the next Mark now.
Yeah, the next Mark.
Yeah.
The commemorative plastic bottles.
One and done.
These bottles brought to you by Hilton.
It says, do you know how many countries people were watching? Nope, I do not. Do you? Told you, ask me anything. It doesn't mean I have the answer. I don't know yet.
Do you know how many countries were the speakers from? Do you know that
by
off
heart?
The top of your head? Well, I know we had Australia.
79.
Hi, Morgan.
Multifaceted.
Oh, there is Morgan. Why is she going by a different name? Why is she changed her name all the time? Now she's Sakura Geisha.
Sakura Geisha.
Is this like anime?
No, it's Japanese.
Oh.
Sakura.
Okay. What does it mean? Does it mean reef goddess by any chance?
Sakura's cherry blossom.
Okay, all right, that'll work. Look, she's in the chat when she's supposed to be on this thing doing her presentation.
She's ready.
Actually, she sent me a link to her presentation that starts in 4 minutes.
So there you go.
Yeah, we should wrap up so you can get the header ready.
Okay, so I got to get her ready. So we are going to end this one. These guys are, I don't know what they're going to do. They're probably going to just lie down on the carpet like Jack and get some rest.
We're both going to go to bed.
The loud thumping noise you hear from the other room is us hitting the floor.
And we're going to come on here and have another presentation. This one's going to be about coral gardening, which would be pretty cool.
I'm curious to see if this is going to be the viral video of the presentation.
I really don't think it will be. Santana says, should I order a sump right now? Will Mark get to work on it right now?
I think this is the video with the least value.
Yeah, this one. You know what? Fritz is like, no, we're not sponsoring this video.
Morgan says she needs the link.
Yeah, all right. I'll send you the link, and I got to find her presentation.
All right.
So we're going to lock this down and get into our next presentation. 2 to go, and then the big raffle.
Thanks, everybody.
I'd say have a good night, everybody, but have a good morning.
It is morning. I'm starting to see the sunrise right through. Look, the sky's turning pink.
Back to the coffin.
Back to your coffin. That's hilarious. All right. Let me send this to Lady Morgan over here. Where is that chat? This is for you. And I'm going to hit the finish button. So thank you so much for being patient with us during the time filler we just had now.